Hello everybody, Peter the Booklover here, and this is Book Talk. This is where I talk about books that I recently read, and this is episode number 35, and I'm going to talk about Franz Kafka. This is the first book that I've read by him, and one of these stories is really incredible, and I want to talk about that. So let's talk about this. Hello everybody, I'm Peter the Book Lover. I have a YouTube channel to where I talk about books and movies, and I have a great time doing it. Hopefully you'll have a good time being here as well. And in this episode I'm going to talk about Franz Kafka. This is a book that is a collection of short stories, and two of the stories I really liked a lot. The other two were not my favorites, but we're going to talk about one in particular. There's one story in this book that was fantastic that I want to cover. But before I get into that, I would like to ask you, if you enjoy this video, please do me a favor, hit the like button. It means a lot to me, and it lets me know that you've enjoyed this video, and that means a lot to me. So if you could do that, please. If you can, if you've read any Franz Kafka, let me know what you think, or any other opinions you want to give me. I would love to hear from you. One of my favorite things of doing this is communicating with the audience, so please let me know what you think. Now, and if you can, please subscribe to my channel. I make about 3 videos a week. And yeah, come back later and check out more of my videos in the future. I do make an effort on making these interesting, and I do put a lot of effort into it, but at the same time, I do not produce like extremely entertaining content. So, but I do make an effort, so it's got to count for something, right? So this is The Sons by Franz Kafka, and it's got 4 stories in this. Now the first one is The Judgment. Now this one I understood, and I kind of enjoyed this story. This is a very short story. It's about 6 pages long, and this is a story about a guy that thinks he's taking care of everybody very well, but it turns out that he's not taking care of the people around him very well, and his father calls him out in a kind of brutal fashion. So it was pretty interesting. Okay, so the next one is a story called The Stroker, and this one was not my favorite. It was kind of interesting though. I kind of related to it. This is a story about a guy that's on his way to America, and he gives a little history of this guy, and there's kind of like a family reunion during all these events, and it's kind of like a surprise family reunion, and it was kind of interesting, and I enjoyed this story. And then we have the story Metamorphosis, and that's the best story in this book. I'm going to talk about that, but I'm going to go talk about the other one for a second. The other one is called A Letter to His Father, and this is pretty much a letter to a father of a son complaining on how he was brought up. It was not my favorite. I kind of don't relate to this because, a father that's kind of seems like a hypocrite. But the thing about it is, a reason why your parent might be a hypocrite is because they want you to have a better life than they did. So, actually a father being kind of hypocritical towards you is actually kind of a good thing, because they really love you and they care, and they don't want to see you screw up their life like they've screwed up their life. So, they want their siblings to be better than they were. And that's not because they have a low opinion of their siblings. They actually just want their siblings to have a better life than themselves. And I really didn't relate to that story that much. But the story called Metamorphosis was fantastic. Now, what this story is about is a guy that's in his bed, and he just wakes up, and he's an actual insect. It doesn't explain how he becomes an insect, but he's an insect. And the way this story begins is that he's called into work, and they're telling him, you got to come out now and come to work. And he's just like, he doesn't want to leave the room because he's a bug. And eventually that just passes, and they wonder why he's not talking to anybody, because he can't really talk anymore because he's an insect now. And this goes into how he deals with being an insect and how his family members deal with him being an insect. And this was a very entertaining story. It's like all the things that he went through, and it's very relatable. You know what I mean? It's you know, it's a really wonderful story because you know, it really pretty much describes what would actually happen if one day you woke up and you were an insect, because your family members would have a really hard time dealing with you because you'd be kind of creepy to them, you know? And it's like you're crawling on the walls and stuff, and they actually don't want to even be in the room with you because you creep them out, which is understandably. And then also it goes into how he learns how to work with his new body. Like in the beginning, he can't even turn over. He has a really big struggle with being an insect. Yeah, and this is not a very long story, but it's longer than the other stories, and it was very engaging. It ends in a very sad way, in my opinion, but the journey getting to the end was just fantastic. I mean, you know, how he dealt with it. You know, he'd have to hide from people because he was like an embarrassment. And yeah, it's just a really interesting story. I had a really great time reading it, and I highly recommend that, you know. Now, the rest of the stories are, you know, I'd say read them. You know, they're interesting, but they're nowhere near as good as Metamorphosis. You know, Metamorphosis, if I was going to rate the books individually, I would rate Metamorphosis pretty high. It's a 9 out of 10, in my opinion. It's not a 10 because it ends in a kind of sad way, in my opinion. I wish it would have ended in a better way. But it ended in a very realistic way. So I kind of do like the ending, but I kind of wished it had a happier ending. And the rest of the stories, I don't have a really high opinion of the other stories. But when it comes to Metamorphosis, I definitely give that a very high rating because it is a very interesting story and very enjoyable. So I'm really just rating Metamorphosis, and that's a 9 out of 10. So check it out if you can. It's a very interesting story. It's very relatable. It's not confusing, you know what I mean? It's kind of like Frankenstein. I really love this story, Frankenstein. And this came out around the same time as Frankenstein did. And it's very relatable. And yeah, it's in a very simple language that you can understand. It's not confusing. And it's a tripped out story, you know what I mean? Imagine that, waking up and you're an insect. And how would you deal with it? So that's about it. Yeah, and another thing that's really interesting is his diet changes and things. He doesn't want normal food anymore. He wants rotted out, disgusting leftovers. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's actually a funny story if you'll laugh at it quite a bit. So I do recommend it. That's my opinion of Metamorphosis, and this is my opinion of Franz Kafka. Very interesting author. I'd like to read more of his stuff in the future. So that's it. I am the Peter the Book Lover. Now, before I go, I really want to let my audience know that I really appreciate you giving me your time by watching this video. It means a lot to me, and I just want you to know that I really appreciate it, and I want to give you a big thank you, and I want to let everybody know that watch this video that I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. And that's about it. I am Peter the Book Lover. Please do me a favor. Come by and watch some of the videos I've made in the past. Watch some of the videos I've made in the future. And that's about it. I am Peter the Book Lover. I want to thank you for coming by. And I hope to see you in the next video. See ya.